Join Bob Kolazarik as he welcomes a diverse array of guests to the enlightening talk show, Greetings from the Ashram. In each episode, Bob sits down with experts and practitioners from the world of complementary healing modalities, spirituality, and holistic wellness to delve into the transformative power of these practices. From ancient traditions to cutting-edge therapies, Greetings from the Ashram offers viewers an insightful and uplifting journey into the realms of mind, body, and spirit. So now, please welcome your host, Bob Kolazarik.
Hello, everyone. Namaste and welcome. I am Bob Kolazarik, and you are watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. Thank you, as always, for spending an hour of your Friday evening with me. I really appreciate it. I am so grateful that you are here. And thanks to everyone out there for the support of the show. My guest tonight is Nicole Fouche. Nicole has been helping people all over the world for more than 25 years. She's a life dedicated to helping her community is evident in her work. She has worked and trained exclusively in London, Europe, Australia, and the USA. She's been working in the USA for over 10 years. She's the owner and founder of Pranic Healing Tampa and has a beautifully appointed center in the heart of West Chase. She is certified pranic healer, instructor of level 1, which is basic pranic healing I've talked about before. Level 2, she teaches, which is the advanced pranic healing. And level 3, the pranic psychotherapy course. She's a certified pranic psychotherapist. Her special interests include treatment of anxiety in adults and teens, complex conditions such as cancer, radiation, and chemotherapy, and relationship healing. Please welcome Nicole Fouche. Hello.
Thank you for having me, Bob. Nice to be here.
Oh, it's great to have you. And, we're running a little bit behind. We've been having technical difficulties all over the place. And you had a little technical difficulty along the way, haven't you?
Yep, absolutely. But we go with the flow. It's a Friday night. We can ease into it.
Yeah, so, Nicole lost power about a half hour before the show, so she's scrambling and made it over to the center. I assume you're at the center, but I don't know.
Yes.
So thank you for making that adjustment and everything. So, let's just jump into it. You're at the center. Let's tell us about what you're doing. And let me just say I'm a big fan of yours. You're just an inspiration. So go ahead and tell us about what you're doing in Tampa.
Absolutely. So my family and I moved here from South Africa 10 years ago. I was already involved in pranic healing, and it really was a goal of mine to set up a space and build a community for people that needed help, for people that were searching, for people that were looking for a spiritual community. And in 2019, my husband and I built the center, and it's just been a beacon of hope for so many people. And the timing of actually setting up the center, I think, was very divinely guided as well, because we literally got up and running and then COVID hit. And the community had already been so involved with us with Pranic Healing Tampa, and through the pandemic being able to help people remotely with not even having them need to come in was just such a wonderful lifeline for so many people, because a lot of people struggled during that time. And as you know, with pranic healing, you don't need to be physically present for the healing to work. And we just pivoted and went online for a short amount of time, and we've just grown in the last 4 years. So many people have been coming in, and when you introduced me and we were talking about helping people and teens with anxiety, I think now more than ever, the pandemic is actually mental health in our teenagers. They are struggling on a level like no other. And to be able to offer holistic and natural alternatives, I just think is such a gift to the community.
It really is. And, I started in pranic healing in 2019 and kind of rolled into COVID with it. So I totally understand that with the the meditations, the 100 days of meditation that Master Glenn led, and it's phenomenal. It's life changing. It is, that in and of itself is transformative. And I was never a big believer in meditation before pranic healing. I never did it, but now it's, it's an essential part of self care. So you guys do a lot of meditations. Do you have online meditations that you do still, or do you have healing meditation nights at the center?
So for our community, we always do a Tuesday evening meditation. And that is such a lovely gathering because we do the meditation, we do some breath work, and then we do some pranic healing as well. So it's a great opportunity for people to come after work, really decompress, and then receive a healing as well. I do a lot of online meditations, but those are specifically the Arhatic meditations. So we've got a pretty active Arhatic yoga group here, and we've been doing our online meditations for many, many years. So we've just continued with that.
Yeah, it's I'm a big Arhatic yoga practitioner too, so that's important. To me, I was talking about it the other day. I think I was on Jason's podcast, and there's importance of just staying that connected into that divinity, and the work that we do it's hugely important to me. So I just like to share that with everybody. But you also offer classes, right?
We've got a very busy schedule. Which is fantastic. I kind of look at pranic healing as just part of my lifestyle rather than something that we do. And just getting people involved in different ways. So through meditation, through coming in through healings, through the workshops, really helping people become empowered. And that's the thing I love about pranic healing, is that not everybody who takes the class wants to be a full-time pranic healer, but a lot of people might want to take the class and be able to heal themselves, heal a loved one, heal a family member. And when people take the classes and become empowered to heal themselves, to heal their loved ones, and you see that transformation just unfold, it's just such a beautiful gift to be able to offer people and really see their lives change. And that's actually what prompted the podcast of how pranic healing changed my life, because the testimonials that come through from people have just been phenomenal.
They really are. And, part of the reason of this show's existence is to really kind of spread pranic healing, Arhatic yoga, complementary healing. And so I totally get that. And, I love being a part of this work. But if we get a chance, can we throw up the pictures of the center yeah. So, that just is beautiful. I look at that and I just really want to go into a meditative state. It's just so calming and tranquil.
I love that you say that, and I love that you picked up the energy from those pictures. I had a neighbor who came. She wasn't kind of fully sold on pranic healing. She was still kind of figuring it out. But she walked into the space and she's like, oh my gosh, like I feel so calm. I feel so peaceful. Could I just come and have a cup of coffee here and just sit in the space? And I was like, my work is done. The energy is here. It's even attracting people that didn't sort of really understand what pranic healing was about. But people are very in tune energetically when you walk into a space and it really feels good. That is something tangible that people can feel. And for me, aesthetics are like such a vital part of the work that I do. And the experience of just walking in and it looks beautiful and every little detail has been sort of carefully thought out. I've got the aromatherapy oils in the background, gentle music. Like it's a whole experience just walking in the front door. And my favorite thing is when somebody new walks into the center and they just have that exhale. It's like, oh, we've come home. It's just such a beautiful experience. So it's something I've poured my heart and soul into, and it really is a happy place to be.
Yeah, I can see that. I want to move in. I want to move in over there, and I look at the sound bowls, and I've never had sound bowl sound. I don't even know what you call it, sound therapy. But do you guys do that there too? Because that is something I would really love to experience. But I haven't.
it takes you to another level completely. And, with pranic healing, we're just working with flushing out and clearing dirty energy. And the beautiful thing when you incorporate the sound bowls, there's such a specific frequency that, goes through somebody's system, and it just flushes out whatever doesn't need to be there. And when you combine that with the pranic healing, like the two together are just such a perfect complement of each other. People literally have the most like out of body experiences doing that together. And it feels so good. It's soulful, just to have these beautiful sounds, resonating through the system and going through your body. It really is just a profound experience.
Yeah, one I definitely want to experience. Now, I don't know. This is maybe going, I don't know, too far off the grid, but I was reading or seeing something about the pyramids in Egypt. They're like the center of one of these pyramids is set at a certain frequency for healing. Do you know anything about that? Have you come across anything like that?
So I actually went to Egypt for my honeymoon, and it was quite interesting because I actually did build a crystal pyramid, from small crystals and all of that. And I actually charge all of my oils and all my sort of precious gifts, in the shape. And with that sacred geometry, there actually is a lot of power in that. More than that, I don't know. But the beautiful thing with pranic healing is we can do scanning. If I scan something and then put something in that specific pyramid shape, energetically, there are shifts happening. So,
Definitely something to that.
pranic healing, just being able to scan. Oh my gosh, like you can scan anything. That's such a good life tool to have.
It really is. It really is. It changes the way you look at the world and interact with the world to a certain degree. Like, okay, you can pretty much scan for anything. But yeah, how many instructors do you have at your center? You have a lot of people that kind of work at the center and contribute, right? I mean,
We do, we do. We've got a lot of instructors in training. I've got a lot of people coming in and doing healings here. We've actually got 3 therapy rooms. So one of the things that I love to do is with my students, as they want to become professional pranic healers, they can actually come and use the space and rent the space for an hour, so that as they're building up their business, they're building it up from such a professional space, but they don't have the financial outlay of setting up a whole thing while they're still trying to build up a business. So a lot of them are coming in and, bringing in their clients and just working from a really, really lovely space and building up their businesses. And that's again that empowerment, like to have more pranic healers doing this work and being successful. It's having an impact on our community. It's having an impact on the world. It's just a lovely flow through.
it is, and your leadership is extraordinary in that regard. And my last episode, I had Marianne Chong and Jenny Lai on from the Business Development Accelerator organization, which is designed to develop more pranic healers, fast track them in their professional pranic healing career. So it's great to be a part of that. And in my humble way, part of the American Pranic Healing Association, that's part of the pranic healing as a profession umbrella. So trying to do what we can to create that professional image for pranic healing. And, to me, like you're a gold standard in that, and you really are a leader. And, really, I don't want to fangirl over you too much. I'm going to try to stay calm, but you're very impressive, and it's a great what you do. And it's, like I said, inspiration to me and others. But in addition to the classes and all that you're doing, you're mentoring, you're helping and mentoring them to build their businesses as well. And tell us how you go about that.
So I love to teach, and in fact, I'm going to share like a 2-minute story. I used to have the biggest fear of public speaking. Like it was such an issue for me. Like speaking more than to like two people, literally I would feel like my throat closing up. And then I found pranic healing, and I actually never wanted to teach. And I had a very, very impressive instructor in South Africa, and she said, "Nicole, you really should teach." And it was so interesting because as I grew with pranic healing, And I suddenly realized this is the most incredible system of healing. And it's so powerful and so transformative. It actually got me over the fear of public speaking because I was so excited to share about it that literally, like, put your stuff aside. Like, the world needs to hear about pranic healing. And when I look at it now, you could take me any given day of the week at any time and ask me to talk about pranic healing, and you'll be the one saying, "Okay, Nicole, I think we got it. Like, that's enough." Like, I just can't stop sharing about it. But one of the things I really do love now is actually the teaching aspect, but not just the teaching, it's actually the mentoring and the nurturing as well. And it's one thing, taking a class and, that's it. When the students are mentored, when the students are nurtured, that is really where the pure magic of pranic healing comes in. So one of the things that I do is I run a healing pod. We've probably got about 50 people that join this healing pod, and we work with really advanced cases. So stage 4 cancer, severe mental and emotional issues. And the wonderful thing is we can get new pranic healers coming in with advanced and senior pranic healers, and they can get a snapshot of how do we start breaking down a really complex case, like bringing in the psychotherapy aspect, bringing in all the different components of healing, the forgiveness, the gratitude, the letting go, the self-empowerment, the meditation, all the different things that we do in pranic healing. So the new pranic healers are getting to see, wow, this is the scope of pranic healing. And they're getting to see, how do we interview a client? How do we figure out, like, what is the root cause of their illness? What do we need to work on? How do we, work with different protocols and integrate them together? And just watching the confidence of these students grow as they start to work, as I said, with really complex cases, it becomes a lifeline for them. And we've got some members of our pod that are like well into their 80s, and they're just doing it as a form of service. And they show up each and every week and they're making a difference. And it's giving them so much purpose and so much joy in their lives. And how can you not love being involved with that? So that aspect of it is fantastic. And a lot of people in the pod are actually in Master Glenn's certification program, so they really are getting real hands-on experience as they're doing their certification with real live clients on Zoom, understanding all the just the little nuances of working with people with chronic illness.
And it's amazing structure there. I am a product of coming through the healing ponds, working on my certifications. And I'll back up a minute. I had studied Reiki, and before I found about pranic healing, and it's great, and it really kind of got me started. But there was, when I'm learning it, there's no structure there in terms of, like, how do you practice? Who do you practice? Who's guiding you? And all of them. And then coming into the pranic healing and getting into the healing pod, and then taking advantage of the healing pod and working on the certifications. Like you said, you just, from the associate, the certified, and the psychotherapy, you learn by somebody that's really experienced, the great mentors. And a lot of it we learned as a team and in a group, and you build community too. You build your confidence, it makes you a better healer, deeper levels of understanding of the healing. I started pranic healing to get into arhatic yoga, but now I love healing. It really is a passion. It becomes a passion.
It does. It does. And, when you look at Master Choa Koksui and setting up the pranic healing system, it's so systematic. It's so simple to follow. Everything is standardized. The protocols, the step-by-step guidance, and that's what I love when you bring somebody into basic pranic healing. You don't need any special skills. You don't need to be intuitive. You don't need to be psychic. You don't need to be able to see energy. You only need two things: a willingness to learn and two hands, and you can do pranic healing. And that's what I love about his system, is it's that simple and that systematic that literally anybody can follow it. and just working through the different levels of pranic healing. And as you said, working through the pods and working through the certification, everything is very systematic. It kind of builds on each other. So there's just an organic growth, an organic progress that happens when people move through pranic healing. And interestingly enough, as people progress through, suddenly then you start to see the transformations in their lives. As you said, you started with the goal of getting to Arhatic yoga, but now you involved in the healing side. And we have, students that come through that, want to do the healing, and then suddenly, oh my gosh, my relationships are better, my finances are better, my life is better, I've got more joy, I've got more inner peace. And it's just these beautiful little side effects that just kind of creep in, and suddenly you look back on your life and you're like, oh my gosh, look at what this system has done for me. And one of my favorite things to do is when I finish a level 1 basic pranic healing class, I get everybody to pull out their phones and I say, 1 year from today, I want you to type in your phone, pranic healing 1 year birthday, phone Nicole and tell her the miracles that have happened in the last year. And sporadically throughout the different weeks, the different months, I'll get these calls and students will text and message and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is what's happened in my life since I took pranic healing. And it's amazing what it's done for so many people.
Myself included. So let's take a break. I have to take a commercial break. So we'll be back. I'm your host, Bob Kolazarek. You're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. And we'll be right back after this with a little bit more with Nicole Fouche.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Bob Kolazarek, and you're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. Tonight with me is Nicole Fouche from Tampa, Florida. Pranic Healing Tampa. So before the break, you were talking about how pranic healing changes people's lives, and we see it all the time. I know it's such a huge difference from where I was to where I am. And, that's kind of the basis of your podcast, is not your podcast, How Pranic Healing Changed My Life. So you have a nice series with various guests on that. Can you tell us a little bit more about your podcast?
Absolutely. So it kind of just unfolded organically. We had just a group of clients that really just had the most miraculous experiences with pranic healing. And somebody just sort of happened to mention, hey, that would be good to share that message. And it was like, well, how do we share that? And anyway, the podcast was born. And I still remember the very first one. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know how to run a podcast or what to do. But the interesting thing was, again, doesn't matter what it looks like or how you get it together, the message was so strong, because I'll never forget, it was the most wonderful lady who was battling with cancer, and she literally said, cancer saved my life. And just the beautiful experience that she'd had through pranic healing.
I'm sorry, that's a profound statement.
Yeah,
Cancer saved my life. That is really a profound statement.
absolutely. And I'll backtrack a minute on that, because she was living her life with so much anger, so much resentment, like just going through the motions of daily life, and then got this awful diagnosis. And I still remember she called me, it was the middle of the night her time, and I just said to her, this is what we can do. And it was almost like the lights just switched on. And we took her through our process of meditation on twin hearts, and we did healing for her and started, our entire program. And we were like 2, 3 months into the program. Her cancer numbers were dropping. And she dropped that statement, cancer saved my life, because suddenly now she had let go of the anger, the resentment, the trauma of the past. Her relationship was improving. So many different areas of her life were blossoming and growing. And she said, I needed this wake up call in life to actually realize the gift that I've been given to be here to experience life. And she said, literally, like her life took another entire direction from what she had ever expected. So that was our very first podcast. And the one that followed was equally as powerful. A lady had had an unexpected death of her child, literally as we hit COVID. And there was no help for her. She couldn't go anywhere. Everything was locked down. And I remembered getting this call, and she said, can you help me? And I said, sure. I said, we can be on the phone. I can do a healing for you now. And over the weeks, I would connect with her, and the same thing. She literally just was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I would have gotten through this if it weren't for pranic healing. And those were the first 2 interviews that we did. And from there, we got such a good response from that that I just started calling clients and saying, hey, do you want to share your story? And going back and listening to how these people's lives have changed, it just made me even more passionate and more dedicated to wanting to share this work, because what a beautiful way to share it through live testimonials. So that's essentially how it all came to be. And I often go back and just re-listen to some of them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just amazing. And one of the most beautiful things is most of the people that we interviewed actually ended up taking the pranic healing class and are giving back now. So it's kind of gone full circle, which is just fantastic.
It is, and we have an image of your podcast that can be. You can find it on YouTube. How Pranic Healing changed my life, and you can also find the link at pranichealingtampa.com/podcast. So, yeah, it's an amazing podcast. What my question to you is, you on this fear of public speaking, when did you eliminate that fear that you can be a podcaster now?
I know, right? Who would have thought that? Like school friends of mine, I've just got back from South Africa, and they're like, I can't believe how much you like doing online and how much you're speaking, and like this is like a completely different person. But the point is, I think, we're not trying to sell pranic healing, we're trying to share it. And when you've got something good to share, it's like, the most famous chocolate cake recipe, you want to just share it, you know what I mean? So as I said, some people just have the gift of the gab and, are very good on camera. And as long as we can get the word out about pranic healing, I'm happy to just keep trying and doing it in my own way.
I feel the same way, because I was, struggling to do this show. It's no secret. This isn't, my first, job. Hey, I want to be a show host. That was never anything coming out of my mouth. So, it is a process, and you learn and you step into your own authenticity, and, you just share it because, you have the passion for it, and, just we do the best we can. So I agree. So congratulations on that. So that's fantastic. I highly encourage people to visit that. But you're also on the faculty, right? Tell us, about that pretty quickly, because there's such a structure, and I just so love pranic healing because of the structure. So tell us about your work with the faculty.
And so all credit goes to Master Glenn for that. One of the things that he has spent the last number of years doing is really standardizing everything so that from one generation to the next generation of pranic healers, everything is very systematic. Everything is following as it has done through many, many, many years. So he has set up different segments within the Center for Pranic Healing to just oversee different things. And the most beautiful thing, just to see is how everybody's grown in pranic healing and everybody's got different skill sets and how we can bring these skill sets together to really strengthen the Center for Pranic Healing as our sort of umbrella organization, and just having that structure, having people that care, having people that are bringing their skills to the table for whatever it is, whether it's doing the manuals or whether it's doing the certification or whether it's doing the healing or whether it's doing the mentoring. Everybody's, working within their skill set and really just building up such a strong structure that is going to stand the test of time for future generations of pranic healing. And to be, able to be involved with that is such an honor and a privilege, because this is a system we want to extend through many, many, many generations in the future.
No doubt about it. It's powerful, and I have no doubt it's going to be successful. It works. It's a system that works, and it's proven. So you talk about giving back. People are giving back. You guys give back a lot. Tell us about your charity, Kids for a Cause.
So when we look at pranic healing comes from the lineage of love and compassion. And already from a very young age, when I had my children, we wanted to bring them up with the qualities of love and compassion and giving back. And in 2017, my sister's husband passed away very unexpectedly. And the love and support that we got from our community literally blew me away. Like, just random strangers and neighbors and people that stepped up to help her and help our family. I've never seen generosity and love like that anywhere in the world. And it really, really had a huge impact. And I remember chatting to Master Glenn, and he was asking how my children were doing and how my sister's children were doing. And we said, they're doing okay. And, they're struggling a little bit. And Master Glenn said, if you are struggling, help people that are struggling more than you. And that landed like so deeply with me. And we were sitting at the Christmas dinner table, and there were the 4 kids, and I said, we need a cause. We need to start giving back. And I've just seen, like, when we were at a low point in our lives and the impact and love that we got from community, we want to pay that forward and help other people that are struggling and having a difficult time, and be that stranger that just shows up to say, hey, we care about you and we're here to help you. And that's how Kids for a Cause got started. And we had kind of planned just to do like random acts of kindness. And anyway, our first project, the kids were making salt soaps to sell to pranic healers. And anyway, our first project, we fed 10,000 people in Tampa.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, like that really was like, wow. And our second project, then we supported an orphanage. And so it went on. And by the 6th month, we had grown so much that we actually had to register as a nonprofit organization because of the scale of the work that we were doing. And essentially, the goal of Kids for a Cause is that every single month, they will raise a minimum of $1,000, and they will put that towards a cause in the community, whether it's for hurricane relief or homelessness or hunger or abandoned and abused animals. And it's been the most phenomenal process to watch the kids get involved and actually realize how lucky they are and how much they have to be grateful for, and the impact that they can make in their community. And just recently we were looking at the numbers, and these 4 boys, when they started, were 9, 10, 11, and 12 years of age, and they've raised over $100,000.
That's
They've
spectacular.
supported,
That is amazing. Yeah, that
that
is
is
really impressive.
4 boys. And the most beautiful thing is that we've had over 750 children join our projects and spark off their own projects of community and giving back. And the key message there is kids can make a difference. Even if you're 9 years of age, you can make a difference. And they've seen the impact that they have made, just the 4 of them. And as a parent, there's just nothing like that, to actually just see your kids blossom and grow and become compassionate, active members of society.
And it's beautiful that, this generation, their generation, we need to build a whole generation of kids with that kind of heart and a level of service. I know you guys were just had a big project in South Africa, right? You guys just got back from there. You could tell
Yeah.
us about that.
Oh my gosh, that was just amazing. So we're from South Africa, and South Africa's got a particular set of challenges going on right now. And one of the biggest challenges is that our power grid is basically almost non-existent anymore. We're at stage 6 load shedding, and load shedding means they shut off the power completely for 6 hours at a time. And in a 24-hour period, that could happen 2 or 3 times, which means you only have power for like 6 hours of your day. And that's in the established cities. Then you go out into the rural areas, and there's absolutely no power at all. So the sun goes down at around 6 o'clock, and until 6 o'clock the next morning, people are in darkness. And what often happens is students will study by candlelight or by paraffin lamp, and unfortunately, there are accidents that happen with that, and the number of people that burn down their homes or suffer severe burns because they need access to light. There's multiple levels of problems with that all around. Anyway, we did a huge fundraising project before we left, and we went to rural villages in South Africa, and the boys brought solar lights to each home. I cannot even put into words the expressions on people's faces when the kids walked in and they gave them a light, and it's all solar lighting. And South Africa's got an abundance of sunshine. It's like Florida. It's like 365 days of sunlight. And we charged up these lights, and they last for 6 to 8 hours. And the kids going into their homes and bringing these lights into their homes, they thought it was like Christmas Day, like just the sheer joy. And oh my gosh, we have light in our homes. So the project was called Light Up Africa. And the kids just went from home to home to home to home and just delivered these lights. And part B of that project, because as we were initiating that, word kind of spread that Kids for a Cause is coming. And we'd done a number of projects there with animal conservation. But there was a children's center there, which just was on another level. And the most beautiful ladies are running the center. They have helped over 25,000 children over the last 10 years, and currently they're looking after around 288 children. And any child from that village, if they are hungry or they need a hug or they need water, they can arrive into this place and they will be taken care of. And the most beautiful thing is, I had originally understood it to be like an orphanage, and it's actually not. What these ladies are doing is actually empowering the community to actually look after these children at home. And that is a fantastic thing, because then they're not giving handouts to people. What they do is they call it a community, what is the word? I can't remember the community accountability project. So somebody can come in, they can receive a food package, and in response to that, they need to give back to the community. So whether it's helping the neighbor look after the kids because the mom has to work, or whether it's tutoring, or whether it's cleaning up the streets, or whatever it is. So it limits that feeling of being dependent and having to receive a handout. It's actually an exchange. And what is
Hey,
happening is,
Nicole, can I hold you right?
yeah,
It's time to take a commercial break, so I'm
well,
going to take a break.
tell me to
And
be quiet.
no, I wanted to let you finish, but just can you come back with me after the break, and,
Yeah.
and we'll finish that story. Okay, so I'm your host, Bob Kolazarek. You're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. We'll be right back after this.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery, or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Bob Kolazarek, your host. You're watching Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. Bringing back Nicole Fouche to help me close out the show. Thanks, Nicole. It's a fascinating story, and the work that you guys are doing is absolutely amazing. And it is about community and taking care of one another at the end of the day. And you guys are just, the work you're doing, and the kids. It's so heartwarming to see that the younger generation gets it, and we just need more kids and more people to get involved. So we got a couple photos of the trip. If we could throw up one of the boys. Let's see. No, let's see. Yeah, keep going. There's a one with the tell us about the pic. Let's see. Yeah, tell us about this picture here.
So those were actually farm workers, similar situation, no electricity at home. So the boys gave each and every one of them 2 lights to take home, and you can just see the joy on their faces receiving these solar lights. That was just fantastic.
Yeah, I can imagine. The things that we just take for granted.
Well,
It's
I share my story this evening. Oh my
yeah,
goodness. The things we take for granted, right? We have never had a power failure in Tampa in the 10 years that I've been here. And 30 minutes before the show, the lights go out. And I'm like, the kids were running around like, Mom, like, what's going on? Like, there's no power. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I've got to get ready for a show. And we're running around. And I was like, oh my gosh, we've got these solar lights. I brought one back from South Africa to show our donors like what we had given out. And I charged the solar lamp like 3 weeks ago in South Africa, and I turned it on and it worked perfectly. It illuminated my entire home. And I was like, kids, welcome. This is what we offered to people that were in the darkness. And they were like, Mom, like this makes such a difference. Like we would have sat in the dark for like 30 minutes. That was like a long time for them. Anyway, it turns out our power's out for like a few hours. But it was just a quick snapshot of what we take for granted, like that we will have power, that we'll have internet connection. And anyway, it was a fleeting moment of, oh my gosh, this is what we gave to people that experience darkness every single night. It just highlighted what we've done in the most beautiful, tangible way for the kids.
Well, as we reap, we sow, right? So you're sowing those, or as we sow, we reap, I should say. So you're sowing those seeds, you're planting them, and you got a little light karma back for yourselves and your family during the time. So that's fantastic. So, Nicole, thank you so much for being here today. The best way for people to get a hold of you, just visit your website, pranichealingtampa.com. I think we have an image of that. You can find the podcast there, as we said. And thanks for sharing all the work you're doing with your charity and the boys, what they're doing. So the way to find them, the website for them, www.kids4, right, acause.org, www.kids4acause.org, and on Facebook, www.facebook.com, kids4acause888. And please donate to the cause. Let these kids know that we are behind them and all the work they're doing. They are making a huge difference in the world. And Nicole, you're making a huge difference in the world and the community that I love. And thank you for your leadership and all that you do. You're definitely an inspiration. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for letting me do what I love. Share Pranic Healing.
You got it. So, I'm just so happy that Nicole was here. She's gracious with her time. She's fantastic. I don't have enough good things to say about her. But next week, my episode is going to be based on, giving, service. One of the pillars of our Hatha Yoga. Pillar number 4 is tithing and service. So I'm going to have as my guest Jeffrey Noble. He's the founder and CEO of the Noble Touch, which is a charitable nonprofit organization out of Brooklyn. It's also a leading provider of energy healing services. They provide holistic approaches to health and wellness. Jeffrey is an amazing man, and I can't wait for you guys to meet him. Also, I'm going to have Luis Rivera. He's a pranic healer, certified and advanced pranic healer. He has his own pranic healing business, Betterment Fulfilled. He's also on our team at the American Pranic Healing Association as our tech team leader. And talk about a man who does a lot of service. It's Luis. And then one of my favorite charities, I will have also Jack Benjamin, co-founder of Kids with Compassionate Hearts, and he's CEO of my co-marketing group. Amazing young man and a personal friend of mine. So I'm looking forward to having them with me next week. Heart-centered individuals doing a lot of great service and work with their charities. So I hope you join me to visit with them. So that's all I have. I'll be back next week. I am your host, Bob Kolazaric, and this is Greetings from the Ashram, streaming live on the Bold Brave TV network. Thanks for joining. See you next week. Namaste.
This has been Greetings from the Ashram with host Bob Kolazaric. Through meaningful conversations and practical insights, this show invites you to explore the endless possibilities for personal growth, healing, and spiritual awakening. Tune in each week to discover how these practices can bring balance and harmony to your life, making it a true journey of self-discovery. Fridays, 7 p.m. on the Bold Brave TV network.